Good afternoon and welcome to episode 15 of Inside Out, a monthly webcast where Thinka's co-founders and respective COO and CEO, Ben and Lee, talk through all the weird and wonderful, hard and human parts of business and leadership. This month we're exploring well-being. Today we're focusing on one big question. What does workplace well-being really look like?
We thought about this word and we thought, we probably need to define it for everyone exactly what we're talking about when we say workplace well-being, because it can have a lot of different connotations. And just a little reminder, we're not psychologists, so we are talking about workplace well-being in a general sense today. We're not kind of talking about wellness, which has become synonymous with this idea of yoga, meditation, classy gyms, all the things. And we're not necessarily talking about mental health, which is its own field. These things can be related to this idea of well-being, but we're really just talking about that overall sense of health and happiness that a person has at work. So, generally speaking, how we kind of consider that is that when people have this overall sense of health and happiness, it's usually across six domains. So those domains are emotional, intellectual, occupational, spiritual, social, and physical. So if there's a nice balance between those domains, we generally have a kind of thriving sense of well-being. However, if we're kind of compromised in a couple of those domains, we can find that we kind of move more down the kind of continuum towards potentially coping or struggling.
Lee and Kev, I've got a question for you. So when you think about those six domains, emotional, intellectual, occupational, spiritual, social, and physical, is it realistic to have all six firing at any one time?
Yeah, mine are very rarely all going at the same time. Especially, I think the things that really energize those parts of my well-being. My social ones and my intellectual ones probably don't work at the same time. I don't often go into those kind of situations. Things that I like to do as my own kind of like intellectual well-being pursuits
Mhm.
aren't particularly social. And things I like to do as my social things are particularly intellectual. So they never really work the same. And it depends on particularly, trying to get intellectual, occupational, and spiritual all in one might be a bit of a stretch for a lot of people.
We've all seen it. Many of us have experienced it when a particular team or department has designed the well-being or wellness strategy and it feels disconnected from our everyday work. And I've got
Mm.
maybe there's some things we've done at Thinker before that have surprised us and
Yeah, we had a well-being initiative, or a well-being day a couple of years ago, which I remember coming into dreading. No one was particularly stoked about it. It was an improv day. We were doing an improv class all day, and yeah, it wasn't something I was looking forward to going into it, but it was probably the most beneficial one that we've had because everyone came in with this same collective uncomfortableness about it. Even we had someone who had done improv before, but even he wasn't stoked about the idea of it because it did feel weird and it did feel strange, but we were all out of depth together. This included the leaders as well. So everyone was there doing the same thing. And compared to ones that we've had in the past, where you came in with a set of skills or concepts that you were comfortable with, we've done a cooking one. We've done a trivia one, and they're all familiar enough that it's not a stretch, and you can focus on the other concepts around it. The splitting into your groups and having kind of connection time rather than this sort of thing where your brain was firing the whole time, thinking things through. You're looking for other people's reactions, so you're paying a lot of attention to everyone around you, which was really different to what we would do in anything else. And so it was a really valuable day, and we there's so much that came out of it that we reference over and over and over again. It's the one that we talk about the most, even though it was the one that everyone's probably the most uncomfortable at. Yeah, wellness doesn't have to be comfortable.
How can we start to sort of see well-being as an integrated approach? So, like to me, it's about skills and capabilities. So, these are the idea of integrating human skills into the organization. You're not just offering up the ability for somebody to be more productive and achieve goals, you're also giving them the ability to kind of apply these skills in real life as well. So, for example, thinking about thinking, metacognition, teaching skills around that, and growing self-awareness. that piece is great for work and building work relationships and having, a better collaboration, but it's also great in life. You start to put that self-awareness lens on your relationships outside of work. You start to kind of think about the ways you're thinking and feeling and experiencing the world. So you have benefits both inside and outside of work through growing skills and capabilities. So I think there's more to it than just this idea of care washing. Like it can be quite integrated and become part of the fabric or the DNA of the organization.
We've actually got to think about how we can integrate wellness so it doesn't feel disconnected from business strategy. It's actually one of the enablers of it. It's a foundation of it. So I just think it has had that reputation for a long time of being an activity that we do to feel good, where it's actually quite different. It's an activity we do to both perform, show up as a great person, to be our best at work, to be great at home as well. If you think about the hours many of us might have got back from no longer having to commute, if we're able to work from home more of the time, or various different activities that we learnt as a result of um, change on a macro level, like sometimes those lessons get lost really quickly. And we've just got to be able to go, right, what was good about that time that we need to just hold on to? Or how do we need to recondition our thinking so it's not just about high productivity? Lee, you had a great example here.
I was sort of thinking about sometimes we set up a binary between well-being and technology,
Mm.
but I don't necessarily think they are at odds. I think technology can actually be an enabler of well-being. So yes, there's a lot of people using AI, as their personal therapist. We're not talking about that, but what if we framed kind of the use of AI in jobs as a way to introduce greater well-being? So, for example, if we're using ChatGPT to do something quicker, to achieve a result faster, to develop efficiencies, what we get back is time. And time is a commodity that's often associated with well-being. So instead of kind of pushing technology as it's change, it's stress, it's get on board or get left behind. Like that's kind of the narrative around tech. Instead, what if we just went, hey, we can really support your well-being here by introducing this initiative. Yes, it's enabled by technology, but what it's going to do for you is X, Y, and Z. And actually starting to kind of draw these connections between technology as part of well-being